From the capital city of Charleston, West Virginia, this is Inside West Virginia Politics with Rick Johnson. Inside West Virginia Politics is brought to you by AARP West Virginia, your ally for real possibilities in the Mountain State, and by Williamson Health and Wellness Center, working to open doors to broader health care in southern West Virginia and eastern Kentucky. Now, Inside West Virginia Politics.
Hello, and welcome to Inside West Virginia Politics. I'm Rick Johnson. It's been just over a month since the deadly flash flooding in the Wheeling area. Our guest is Delegate Sean Fluharty. He is a Democrat. He represents Ohio County in the Northern Panhandle. He represents the city of Wheeling in his district, and we'd like to welcome him to Inside West Virginia Politics. Delegate, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Rick. Nice to be here.
Hey, let's start with the serious situation that you have been experiencing up there since June the 14th, when flash flooding hit the area, Wheeling, Triadelphia, Valley Grove, and in your district, 9 people lost their lives. What's your assessment of the post-flood situation as we speak?
Well, devastation still remains here, Rick, and a month later, we were looking for FEMA to step in. They have not done so yet. Governor Morrisey has been here on the ground. I appreciate that he was here on the ground immediately following what happened here in Ohio County. However, a month later, we've had nothing more than optics at this point, because families are still devastated. We have bridges that are out. People can't get back to their homes. And we have homes that have been entirely destroyed. And this is not a normal flood area, so they do not have flood insurance. And that's why we were hoping for FEMA to step up and President Trump to step up. But a month later, that hasn't happened. And the state itself is lacking the resources to step up, which I think is impacting the FEMA response. You know, Democrats tried to put $50 million into our flood resiliency fund just last session, and that was shot down. And it has $0 in that balance as of today. Former Governor Jim Justice wanted us to have $100 million in that fund, and yet today we have zero. And when FEMA looks at that and realizes the state has no skin in the game, I think that's impacting their response. So, you know, I would hope that our federal delegation and our state leaders who have, let's be honest, Rick, they've been kissing up to the President Trump for many years now. You would think we would get a response. We can't even get a tweet from the president to say that he's thinking about West Virginia. So this is something that I think now, all hands on deck, we should be responding in a better situation than we have. And take a look at other states. Devastating floods in Texas. They had FEMA on the ground within a week. Devastating floods in Kentucky. They had FEMA on the ground very quickly after that. And here we are a month later, a month and a day to be exact, and yet no FEMA on the ground and no real state resources being used. I know the governor, through his contingency fund, put forward $500,000, but that's like throwing a rock into a lake. I mean, that's nothing. That's not going to build bridges. That's not going to restore the homes of many families who now are essentially homeless. And it's something that I believe we need a better response from our federal delegation in particular. They could at least leverage their vote for the big, beautiful bill to help actual constituents in West Virginia, yet that didn't even happen. So I'm just waiting for real representation at the federal level and for our state to actually put a plan in place, which we tried to do previously that never happened.
Switching gears a little bit now, how can Democrats pick up seats, if you will, in the legislature in 2026?
By speaking about real issues and not the nonsense that's coming out of the legislature currently. You know, we spoke about real issues, kitchen table issues that your family speak about on a nightly basis. That's what concerns you. Rising utility rates, how you can put your kids through school, and that cost of living that is exceeding what's coming in to your bank accounts. These are things that we're talking about, not all the nonsense coming out of the legislature. Rick, I've been doing this for a number of years now, and I've never been so frustrated, and my constituents have never been so frustrated as to what happened this past legislative session. It was all politics, not policy. And that's why we have a situation where floods are taking place in our state, and we have no state response. And just after our floods had just occurred, there was an interim meeting at Stonewall Resort. So many legislators were sitting around sipping wine with lobbyists while people were drowning in the waters in West Virginia, yet they didn't even come up with a plan there on how to rehabilitate the state. So we need a plan going forward for our state that gives families a reason to be proud of our state and security that comes with it. And right now in my neck of the woods in southern West Virginia, where they're still recovering from floods, they would like to have a peace of mind that their government's actually working on things that they care about. And we do care about those issues, those kitchen table issues. And we're not just going to play politics. And I think people are tired of the games in Charleston. And that's all we saw last session.
Delegate, I wish we had more time, but unfortunately we don't right now, but we'll have you back sometime in the future for sure.
Thank you for your time, Rick. I appreciate it.
You got it. That is Delegate Fluharty. That is Sean Fluharty from Ohio County. We'll be right back with more of Inside West Virginia Politics after this break. Welcome back to Inside West Virginia Politics. With the One Big Beautiful Bill becoming law, with cuts to Medicaid, what will happen to rural hospitals in the Mountain State that rely on Medicaid payments? Rich Sutphin, Executive Director of West Virginia Rural Health Association, is here to help us understand what might be the new normal in rural health care in the Mountain State. Rich, welcome to Inside West Virginia Politics.
Thanks.
Hey, it's great to have you here. For those who may not be that familiar with your organization, tell us briefly what the mission is.
Yeah, so West Virginia Rural Health Association exists to advocate and educate on rural health issues in West Virginia. So our mission is to unite people, communities, and organizations to improve access to health care in West Virginia.
Very good. And of course, with what now is the law of the land, I guess, what is the projected loss of money, revenue to rural hospitals with cuts to Medicaid?
Largely, the provisions in the Big Beautiful Bill will lead to about $6 billion in revenue lost over 5 years. So it's a little over $1 billion a year that our entire healthcare system will lose because of the changes in Medicaid policies.
So I don't want to be someone who is ringing alarm bells unnecessarily, but is there a possibility that rural hospitals, clinics as well, some could be closing their doors?
Yeah, I think it's important for folks to understand that this bill has 3 different phases, large phases that really impact Medicaid. So the first is the Rural Health Transformation Fund. That's $50 billion nationwide that will be spent in 3 different segments. So 50% of that, $100 million a year, will be sent directly to states. 40% of that will be spent based on need. So the federal government's going to come up with a formula to decide how to distribute those dollars, and 10% wasn't defined in the bill. So that's phase 1. That starts in January 2026.
Okay.
In 2027 is when we hear about the work requirements and the increased redeterminations for eligibility. So folks will have to redetermine their eligibility, so go back to DHHR or DOHS to make sure that they still qualify for Medicaid every 6 months instead of every year. And then they will also be required to report 80 hours a month of community service. So either community service, taking care of someone who is indigent, or work. So that's in 2027. And then in 2028 is when we see changes to the state-directed payments. So state-directed payments allow Medicaid managed care organizations to pay higher than a typically negotiated rate. So when that goes into effect, we lose 10% every year until they reach Medicare rates. And honestly, that's when folks will really feel the pinch on this. So I often have told folks over the past couple weeks that now's the time to plan, not to panic. So our governor will be receiving at least $100 million a year to support rural health care. We know that he is invested in rural health care. He's appointed some very strong rural advocates and rural leaders into key positions. So we're hoping that this transformation fund will help shore up rural health. So as you said, we're not ringing alarm bells just yet.
But plan to change.
Plan to change and adapt. There is no question that hospital services will have to be changed, probably lose services. Our goal as a state, and I don't feel that the Congress really wanted to close hospitals. No one wants a hospital close, but our goal is to prevent those closures and prevent as many service lines from being cut as possible.
Let's see if we can end on a note of hope. If you were to look into the future, where do you see hope for the future of healthcare in the hills and hollers of West Virginia?
So one way that I think about it is West Virginians always take care of each other. And so our rural health organizations that provide these services are going to exist until they just cannot, until it fiscally doesn't make sense. So I think that our hospital leaders and our health system leaders will step up and say, where can we make cuts? Where can we lessen the blow so folks can still access the bare minimum of care in their communities instead of having to drive to one of our population centers like Huntington, Charleston, or Morgantown.
Rich, thanks for being here.
Yeah,
appreciate it very much. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more of Inside West Virginia Politics. Up next is West Virginia State Auditor Mark Hunt. He brings 30 years of experience in legal, legislative, and business to the office. And we welcome you, sir, to Inside West Virginia Politics. It's good to see you.
Thank you, sir. Good to have me.
Hey, well, you know what? I'm anxious to get into what it is the auditor does, because I think if you ask 5 people on the street, they'll give you 5 different answers of what the state auditor does. How would you characterize what it is you do?
Well, basically, the state auditor has his fingers in almost every aspect of state government. The auditor, we have a $365 million budget, and of that, we return to the state and counties $350 million a year. So the auditor's office is run very much like a business. One of the few state entities is run like a business. So we charge small fees, we perform services, we collect money, we return that money to the counties and to the general revenue account. The state auditor writes the checks, he keeps the checking account balance. The state auditor audits entities to make sure they're spending the same money correctly. Mm-hmm. I'm also the commissioner of securities. I'm also the commissioner of delinquent land. I'm also the chief inspector. The auditor has many hats and many roles. Most people think, well, what does the auditor do? Just like you said, the auditor does almost everything.
Sure sounds like it. Let's look again. You have, of course, you're a lawyer.
Yes, sir.
You've served in the legislature for many years.
Yes, sir.
A businessman.
Yes, sir.
Of those 3, which one really helps you the most in your new role as the state auditor?
I think the 32 years I've been an attorney has helped me to kind of navigate this office. Like I say, we do a variety of things and provide a variety of services to the citizens of West Virginia. So I think that's what has helped the most. Now, my relationships with the state senate, I was previously a state senator. 6 months ago, I was a state senator. So those relationships has helped me get legislation passed for the auditor's office and the people of West Virginia that previous auditors haven't been able to get passed. So, you know, I'm certainly in a honeymoon period with the legislature, mm-hmm. but as a former member myself, mm-hmm. But we've been able and successful getting bills passed.
I know that you have a tremendous website, and just let me give it out. It is wvsao.gov, I believe. Yes. And one of the things that caught my attention was the West Virginia checkbook.
Yes.
Can you kind of explain what that's all about?
Well, as the auditor pays the state's bills, and we do, and before we pay the bill, we audit it to make sure the payment is correct. So we pay the state's bills, and as we pay the bills, we put it on the website, and you can see daily what bills have been paid and who has been paid.
Transparency.
Transparency, absolutely, absolutely. An entity called OpenGov provides those services for the auditor, and it is on the website. Many of the things on our website is mandated by code. So the auditor's office, which is a constitutional office, and I'm a statewide elected official, most of my duties are spelled out by state code.
So it's the West Virginia checkbook, and I invite everybody to have a look at it because it does have a lot of good information. It also has, I think, sections on reducing fraud, stopping overreach, protecting citizens' tax dollars. That's a lot of responsibility there.
Yes, yes.
And again, the website is wvsao.gov, and we'll give that again here in just a little bit. What new ideas or programs would you like to see happen in the auditor's office? I know you've only been there 6 months, but any thought on that?
In the last 6 months, we've been successful in legislation with improving practices. First of all, volunteer fire departments, which is, they're small entities. They were being audited twice. They were being audited by the state auditor and the legislative auditor. That has ended by statute this year. The other thing is I'm the Commissioner of Securities. Every security document that comes into West Virginia, whether it be a stock, bond, etc., we have made a modest increase in raising those fees and collected basically $5 million new dollars for the state of West Virginia. Those fees are all paid by people in the Northeast. So there's not a single West Virginian paying those fees. In addition to that, we're trying to resolve some of the problems we have with our selling of delinquent land. I'm the Commissioner of Delinquent Land, and we sell all land in the state that is for back taxes. We can do a better job doing that. We can do it quicker, and we can make the state more money. It's going to require legislation. That's a project we're working on.
We are flat out of time.
Okay.
Just like that.
Okay.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
We sure
Good to have
appreciate
you.
it. Absolutely. State Auditor Mark Hunt. And if you want to get more information, you can go to wvsao.gov. We'll take a break and be right back with more of Inside West Virginia Politics. Welcome back to Inside West Virginia Politics. I'm Rick Johnson, and joining us is he's a Nitro City Council member. He's also a business owner in the city of Nitro and a member of the Nitro Land Reuse Authority. Let's welcome Joe Murphy to Inside West Virginia Politics. Hi, Joe. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's good to have you here. I know some big things happening in the city of Nitro.
Yes.
The former Nitro High School building has been purchased by the Land Reuse Authority in Nitro. How did that come about?
So we've been looking at that building and property for quite some time now on what we can do with that. Either what can we do with the building or what can we do with the property.
Mm-hmm.
So come to discover that the building is far too gone from really rehabilitating. So
Right.
The property though holds a lot of value to the city of Nitro with future development of our downtown area. So that's the premise of why we were aggressively going after it.
How much did you pay for it?
So we got it at auction for $166,000.
Sounds like a deal.
It ends up being a pretty good deal. We've discussed pricing with the owner over the last couple of years, and we actually we feel happy with what we came with. Yeah.
Well, here you've got a piece of property that sits right almost in the middle of the town of Nitro. And so what do you think could happen once the building, it will be demolished, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the building's going to come down. That'll leave how many square feet or acres of property?
So it's just over 3 acres of property. So it's going to be, I want to make sure that residents understand this isn't something that's going to happen overnight. It is going to take a little bit of time to find some funding and maybe to look at the asbestos abatement. There's a lot of asbestos in it before demolition and then demolition. But yes, so we're looking at it as a nice blank canvas of prime 3 acres of downtown Nitro, and the sky's the limit to what we want to do. We obviously want to get feedback from our residents, from the city officials, obviously the Land Reuse Agency, since we're going to be the owners of it. And like I said, sky's the limit.
You know, I guess City Council, as you say, will be involved. The mayor will be involved.
Yes, absolutely.
The citizens of Nitro, of course, will be involved. You've got other business leaders
Yes.
in the city. Maybe some corporations could have some ideas.
Absolutely.
And again, looking at a blank canvas.
Yes, absolutely. We're hoping to get some feedback from some experts that have helped develop and revamp some small towns. So there's a lot of, everybody's got a lot of ideas spinning through their head on what we want to do with this property.
And as you say, the timeline is probably a little long, if you will. Maybe some people are expecting this all to happen overnight. It's not going to be that way.
Right. It's not going to happen overnight. We have a lot of work to do with finding some funding to help some grant money out there, and we already have people working on it. We're already looking at a lot of options. But yeah, don't expect it to happen overnight. You're not going to see a bulldozer there tomorrow tearing it down. So just be patient with us and reap the reward when it happens.
Yeah, I guess there will be obviously public meetings, or at least will be discussed in city council meetings, the progress being made. And I understand even that maybe some memorabilia from the old school building might become available, like bricks or something. That's always fun.
Yeah, so we definitely, we know it holds a lot of memories for a lot of former students, probably all over the country now. And we want to be able to honor them and honor and respect, have respect for them. And so yes, we're talking about holding off some bricks and getting some bricks. We're also looking at to be able to memorialize the building with some kind of property, you know, some kind of fixture or something on the edge of the property or something for in the future, so people have something to actually go physically see.
Have you heard anything from people who live in Nitro, if the word's gotten out that the building is probably going to be demolished?
Yeah, so, you know, Mayor Casebolt definitely was excited and got a post out on Facebook, and it's been shared quite a bit. So there's been a lot of feedback through the city's Facebook page and through the mayor's. Some, I don't want to call it displeasure, but sadness probably more than displeasure, but they understand that in order to move forward in the town of Nitro, we have to, you know, unfortunately have to make those types of decisions to move forward with things.
Well, keep us posted on the progress as it goes along, will you?
Absolutely.
Joe,
yes.
thanks a lot for being here.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
That's Joe Murphy. He is a Nitro City Council member and a member of the Nitro Land Reuse Authority, and he's also a Nitro businessman. Hey, that's going to do it for this edition of Inside West Virginia Politics. We thank you for watching. We hope to see you next weekend on Inside West Virginia Politics.